Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Firm Returns Weekly. Not a massively eventful week this week, but I've got a couple of updates on Taylor Maritime investments and tinyBuild. So I will just quickly share my screen. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I would touch on a few things with tinyBuild, particular going over some games that are coming up, some marketing efforts, some updates with the Hello Neighbor franchise and so on. So let's start from the top anyway with Taylor Maritime Investments. So we got the news that Grindrod, which is it's kind of subsidiary of Taylor Maritime Investments now, still publicly listed, but they own 83.23% of the shares now. So control, and the same CEO between the two companies now as well. So pretty much controlling stake, even though maybe it still could be consolidated. Maybe the accounts with it. I'm not sure they do that, but it is, the ownership level is probably such that they could, if they chose to. Grindrod will be carrying out a capital reduction and cash distribution of $32.44 million in two tranches. The first distribution of $1.01598 per ordinary share will be payable on the 26th of October 2023, and the second distribution of $0.63193 per ordinary share on the 11th of December 2023. Of the total distribution, circa $27 million will be payable to TMI in line with its 83.23% ownership of Grin, which is the ticker for Grindrod. Management has stated their intention to use this cash to further reduce the debt outstanding, and I believe probably some parts of the operations as well. Yeah, so that was just a quick little thing there. So they're taking some cash out of the subsidiary effectively to further reduce their debt balance, which I believe was down to the 25.1% of gross assets or something before. So on a look-through basis, I guess it won't change much at all, because the combined debt of the two entities, because the cash it's just been moved between the two, but on the liabilities on the debt liabilities on the TMI side of things, which is separate company, one is isolated from the other in that respect. Shareholders of TMI will be in a stronger position financially there, in terms of with a lower leverage ratio. Right, yeah. So moving on to tinyBuild. So first thing to talk about, and is most of what we're going to be talking about, is that the October Steam Next Fest, which is where they sort of showcase all the upcoming games, with demos, developer live streams, stuff like that. It's a big sort of event exhibition almost, but just on the Steam platform, with various sort of things around it, I think. So yeah, there's often hundreds of demos in there, and lives, and lots of developer live streams as well, showing the developers playing the games and so on. So it's a good, if you can get a demo out there in place for one of these, it can be a good way to market your game. And this is what tinyBuild did with Punch Club 2 earlier in the year. They had at the June edition of Steam Next Fest, or maybe a bit earlier, they had a demo in place. I think they said one of the key things, which was kind of interesting from one of the articles from Alex, the CEO of tinyBuild, was saying about the importance of trying to get a demo out there like a week or two before the Steam Next Fest launches, because that gives it time to sort of build up a bit of a player base and have a good number of downloads and concurrent players, and it helps to get that demo to get promoted by the Steam algorithms and so on when it comes to the Steam Next Fest. So it's a strategy they've seen as successful, and as we'll see, something they've been doing with a couple of their games for this Steam Next Fest as well. And I think they have these Steam Next Fests 2 or 3 times a year. I think there's like a February one, then like a June something, and then one around October as well. So there's a few opportunities to sort of springboard game launches. I guess quite a lot of people will use them as such. So yeah, let's just have a look at some of the so tinyBuild and Versus Evil. So this Steam Next Fest has started today, I believe. So if actually I have a look at this link here, we should actually see some games listed on it. A little while to load because of the fact I'm recording it. But yeah. Right. Oh, I think it's because it's on my wish list. But that's one of the tinyBuild's games straight up there at the top, which is kind of good to see. Let's have a look around then. So what would this be? Action, roguelike, deck building. So if we put action then, let's see what we've got in the list. Yeah. Not seeing it. Obviously that the game maybe it's being altered by the fact I'm logged into Steam or something like that, but yeah, we're not seeing anything popping right up at the moment. But we could also have a look to see how many people are playing the demo. That might be another good exercise here. So you know, oh yes, come on. So if we now have a look at Slime 3K here, for instance, we'll get on to going through in a second, but let's just have a quick look. That's no Slime 3K demo. Right. Do the search here. Right. Not playing ball here. Anyway. Well, you can see it's had a pretty nice boost there. Right, let's just have a quick look. I'm sure this isn't very interesting. I do apologize for that. Right, let's have a look at tinyBuild, and I'm pretty sure it'll be listed here. Slime 3K demo, right. So now this is actually out, so we can have a look to see what the concurrent player count's looking like. Okay, still ticking on quite nicely. Yeah, so you can see, so I think I've got a graph here that captured it on. We're getting some, the Steam Next Fest runs for the whole week, started today, but we're getting some nice concurrent player count sort of peaks here around about the 100 mark, which is averaging about the 100 mark at the peak of the day, which is quite good. Yeah, anyway, let's just get back to reading through the article. So yeah, the first one to mention, as we've just been able to look at, is Slime 3K, Rise Against Despo. And the demo is available. It came out last week. We had a trailer with it as well. And they also the announce of the release date, which is the 2nd of November. Yeah, and it's it's given a nice little boost, as we could see from. Let's go stop there. This is the parent game. It's given a nice little boost already to the follower counts. I mean, just since the 4th of October, we've gained 25% of the increase in following, and just a few 4 or 5 days, which is good going. And then which is driving things up, and we've still got around about 3 weeks or something before the release, so good, driving some nice upward momentum, and it's got it into the top 1,000. Still not crazy numbers, but it's just it's a relatively small game, as you can see from the clips here. It's a pretty small game as they go. Not too got a developer live stream as well. It's good to see. So yeah, not massively high budget one. It's going to be just adding to the overall IP of this this franchise, I guess. Now the Despos game franchise. So yeah, and as you see that graph there, is what we've just had a look at as well. So yeah, it's hopefully give it some early momentum. We'll have to see how it goes as we go through Steam Next Fest, getting towards the weekend and so on. So yeah, we've also got Kill It With Fire 2, and I'm not sure. So I'll just give you the key news for this anyway. So Kill It With Fire 2 has just announced that it will contain several multiplayer modes. So the first game didn't have any multiplayer, I don't believe, including 4-player co-op campaign, which is a major selling point for me. Being able to any game that has the ability to do co-op campaigns is always great, especially when it's like the full campaign. Always used to love that as a feature of the Halo games and Gears of War and stuff. That was always a big selling point for me. And then also a PvP spider hunt mode where someone plays as the spider and somebody plays as and some other players play as the exterminators. And yeah, they've actually released a play test for this now, so I believe we have a look here. Kill It With Fire 2. If we have a look on here now, I believe there is a play test. So you do have, I've already clicked to allow myself, requested access, but this is going to be, I'm guessing the reason they're not doing this is like a full demo is that it would be harder for them to control the player numbers, maybe the resources for the servers and things like that with a multiplayer game, but easier to do a demo that can be downloaded as many times as you want without any impact for a single player game like Slime 3K, for instance. But multiplayer, if it did have too many people playing it, whatever. Anyway, so they've got play tests, and I literally clicked the button and like almost immediately they gave me access. So it wasn't like it was a really took a long time there's a long list or anything like that to get in, which means that anybody that really wants to should be able to access it and try it out. I don't think we get any play tests. I don't know whether we can really see concurrent play numbers or anything like that. But it's looking, certainly they're adding quite a lot of good stuff to this game, and it's driven. Let's have a look. It's driven quite a bit of positive growth in follower, and we've seen a nice little uptick in growth here as well in the last week. But the interesting thing with this game is these don't look that impressive really when you look at these figures compared to like Streets of Rogue 2, which is top 100, I believe now still, and sort of 15. There's several games now that have got sort of 14, 15,000 followers. So it doesn't look that impressive on compared to that. But the interest, I think, these games, particularly maybe not Slime 3K, that one is maybe as much a game you'd play on the PC as anything on console or anything. But something like the Kill It With Fire 2, certainly the Kill It With Fire 1, the first one, was much more heavily weighted towards console players, I think. And just as an evidence of that, and why it's been a successful franchise that they've considered they wanted to make a second game for, is that I remember just having a look at some videos on YouTube and soon finding ones that some influencers had picked it up, and it was a game that obviously was quite compelling for their audience, and they north of 1 million views on quite a few different influencers' channels and so on. So it's quite successful with influencers. It seems to get quite a big following then and player base on consoles and so on. So yeah, and I think they have mobile versions as well. They've got the VR game for the Kill It With Fire as well. So yeah, it's very much a console, more weighted towards consoles. So I mean, if we have a look at the original Kill It With Fire game, we can see what the player numbers are. I mean, it gets very highly rated. Look, 94.13% positive, which is pretty much phenomenal. That's got to be like overwhelmingly positive, I think. But yeah, out of 3,747 user reviews, so not like massive numbers of reviews, but certainly very well received by the people that play it. And then if we have a look, we can't see wishlist ranking and so on, but yeah, about 7,500 followers. But yeah, like I say, it looks like it was in a before it's so we're looking here. Its release, when its release came, it only had less than it looks like less than 2,000 anyway, or around about 2,000 at least when it released. So yeah, a lot of that growth has come since then. So, and it's had appearances in bundles and things like that. But look at it as well, and just yeah, really quite steady growth in the period since. It's not. I mean, it's flattened out a little bit, but still just continued growing. So yeah, it's still selling even on PC, and still has players, not massive counts, yeah, like I say. But I'm not sure with this one not being a multiplayer and just being a single player. It's perhaps not a game that people would put hundreds of hours into or something like that. I don't know whether it's got quite that sort of addicted loop. I mean, maybe it would be more comparable to something like a Punch Club 2 or something like that, just a really fun game that you could play for 10, 20 hours. But with a multiplayer mode to it, perhaps that's going to add greater longevity to it. Anyway, let's have a look. So, and I wonder if Fire 2, now they've not got any developer live stream on this one. We don't actually have there's a search on this. No. We don't actually have an exact date for the release either. But we're supposed to be getting the early access release in Q4 of this year. So we have to see how that goes. So that will just be on PC then, I believe, if it's the early access. And then the version 1.0 will be releasing on PC and consoles in 2024. So maybe they'll time it. Maybe they'll do they've got the early access launch coming up already, so they wouldn't really be something then you'd have a demo release. But maybe there'd be some promotion in February, Steam Next Fest or something. I don't know. But anyway, it looks like early access is a step along the path here. And I'm not sure whether they did early access with the first one or not, but anyway, we've already got the playtest as I mentioned. So then we have a look, and we've got Critter Cove. So Critter Cove, let's get some, I'm guessing this one will be simulation maybe. Not sure whether this would be one that would this one's doing. Oh, let's measure. Anyway, yeah, not seeing anything jumping out here, but I'm not sure quite whether I'm looking at the right category here. Let's try the. Maybe it's because they haven't got a demo, so it's not really appearing so much in here. But anyway, yeah. So they've got a playtest, which is going to be they refer to as a closed beta. So if you actually have a look on, I've got a link here. If you have a look on their page, their Steam page, they've got, yeah, and they did actually have the developers doing a live stream before. They've now closed that, it seems. But yeah, they've got a playtest here. Oh no, they are broadcasting still. So they've still got a developer live stream recording here for it, which is a good step along the way, and has got people watching it. And I think we're looking at I think, yeah, it's a little, the actual page here is talking about Q1 thing, but I'm pretty sure on their Twitter they say they're looking to do an early access release this year, and then it will be version 1.0 in Q1 next year. So similar to same timeline as Killer Fire 2 then, by the look of it. Yeah, it doesn't look, just from that quick search, couldn't immediately find the live stream on Steam Next Fest, but it is streaming right now, so maybe it is in there. But yeah, yeah, let's just have a quick look at their Steam DB page as well. So we have a look under charts. We can see what's happening here. So yeah, they've crossed the 2,000 line now, which is good. Some nice growth there. It's down around about the same, more followers, but around about the same level in the wishlist rankings to Slime 3K. Yeah. So essentially a higher conversion there, but I guess I think this kind of thing happens largely where you've got fewer followers but more wishlist comes because if it's this like another game in a franchise or something, so people are following the original game, and when they're following that original game, they're hearing about the new game and they wishlist it, but they don't necessarily follow it. A bit like when you have like DLCs and things like that, and people still leave the reviews for the DLC on the original game and all that kind of stuff. They interact with the base game. You don't really get any reviews on the DLC pages and stuff on Steam. I think it's a similar kind of thing. The original first game becomes like the key stone of the franchise, where which people follow the earlier people. Anyway, and so that's why I think you end up with a different lower, or rather higher multiples of wishlist to followers to get into this sort of position here. Normally the average is like 10, but maybe that's like 10 years. This might be 20,000 followers, and with this one there might also be 20,000 followers. 20,000 wish lists. So like ends up being a greater than 10x multiple. sort of 15 plus or something, multiple. But yeah, so we're seeing some positive moves from the marketing they've been doing and so on there as well. And again, I'm pretty sure you just look at this game, this is going to be one that's really going to be console heavy. You know, just looks like something that belongs on the consoles. It really, people are going to be playing this with controller. It's certainly going to appeal to people owning Switches or whatever. It's quite comparable to perhaps some other games you can get on the Switch and so on. Sort of cozy games. I think the more people are on consoles, perhaps that would then have these. So yeah, you might not the early access stage. You might see some people playing it, but I think the really big sales are going to come when they put it onto consoles in version 1.0. Yeah. And finally, we've got Stray Souls, and this is now a versus Evil game. So this one is coming out on the 25th of October, so in time for Halloween, which is, as you expect, appropriate for a horror game. And it's doing pretty well in terms of following and wishlist ranking here. So we've probably got maybe 40,000 wish lists on Steam. It's going to be coming out on the 25th across all consoles. And I think when I look on YouTube and stuff like that, most of the comments were people talking about getting on the PlayStation and all things like that. So again, it might be one that has, well, maybe it'll be a broader appeal across, a more balanced appeal across the two, PC versus consoles and so on with this one. But yeah, definitely looking pretty. The sales are going to be fairly balanced because of the fact that it's releasing across all in one go. I don't think there's going to be any early access or anything, and there's not, as far as I'm aware, there's no demo either. Just have a quick look then. So how we're doing here. Oh, a little bit more of a boost. Still going up. So yeah, it's coming out just in a few weeks, but yeah, so and this pretty good. Pretty good trailer. It appeared in the Fear Fest 2023, which was back in September, which is a good sort of bit of promotion for it. And I think we saw a decent bump from that in interest. And interestingly, it's going to be coming out a fairly premium price point of just shy of 1 cent shy of $30. So I'm guessing that means a couple of things, right? It means that the initial sales are going to be fairly meaningful in terms of the revenue they generate. Also potentially means, I'm guessing, that there was a higher budget title. But having said that, I think Cartel Tycoon sold for a similar kind of price point, and was seen as a more premium game, and I think has done pretty well. Maybe not going to be crazy numbers, but I think there's going to be a decent, judging by that comparison, maybe a decent profit from it. In its horror fan niche. But yeah, so that wraps up the Steam Next Fest stuff. So we've got some more updates on the Hello Neighbor franchise. So it's been some pretty major cross-media marketing going on for Hello Neighbor. And it seems to be building up to a major update for Hello Neighbor 2. So this began with the release of a couple of leaked clips from said Hello Neighbor 2 update. So we've got, both of them have featured the guest, which was in the original demo they did for Hello Neighbor 2, which got everybody so excited, was you basically being chased through the house by this bird-like guest character, like a sort of plague mask-esque kind of look to it. So they've been featured. He's featured in both of these sort of clips they've shown that have been sort of faux leaked and they've generated quite a bit of excitement in the community, it seems. And it was quite good when they did the premiere. As the other thing that's happened is that they've now timing that they're doing quite a, like I say, cross media, and the other aspects of it have been they've started releasing the Hello Neighbor, the first season of the Hello Neighbor animated series. So they did the first two kind of episodes as like almost like a pilot thing quite a while back, so a month ago, and they're now releasing the rest of the season as a one episode by one episode. They timing it with, I guess, leading up to following the release of these major Halloween updates for this game, and also Secret Neighbor. So they're also doing a Halloween update for Secret Neighbor, so which is the multiplayer game in the Hello Neighbor franchise, major one. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're timing all these things together. They're building up, and I'm guessing this update is moving closer towards what the fans thought they were getting with the original demo released for Hello Neighbor 2. So yeah, I think that's potentially could really help boost the success of Hello Neighbor 2, which got off to not too bad, but there was a bit of disappointment with the community because it wasn't the game that they thought they were getting, and so on. It's got off to a bit of a rough start. But as has been said before, that same thing happened with the first Hello Neighbor game, and in this case, it wasn't. It was largely to do with external factors that meant they had to scale back things a bit and so on, and change the scope of the game. But now it looks like they're trying to move back towards their original vision of it that they put in the demo. So yeah, we'll have to see how this works out, but it could be fairly exciting stuff sort of coming towards the end of the month for the Hello Neighbor franchise. See how that goes. Be keeping up with the animated series on YouTube that's coming out each week. So the third one came out on Saturday. This Saturday just gone, the 7th, and the next one will be coming out on the the 13th, 14th. So yeah, all quite good stuff. Yeah, and it's kind of, well, hopefully this is going to all progress in helping to build up the Hello Neighbor franchise, or restore some of the I don't want to say damage, but some of the giving the fans, maybe appeasing the fans after they felt a bit cheated maybe with the demo, with the game, the Hello Neighbor 2 not quite living up to their expectations for it after playing the demo. Right, I think that will do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening, viewing, and yeah, I will see you all in the next one.